stakeholder engagement meeting.
Yes.
The whole idea of a stakeholder engagement meeting in itself is to get feedback from the people in terms of the needs of the people, in terms of their responses to the performance of the government. And it was on that occasion that I think the question was raised about how much loan the state is taking and the state of infrastructure in the state. With regard to loans, the governor said he has not borrowed any money, and that in any case, if they are going to ask him a question about whether he's borrowing or not, because if need arises for him to borrow, he will borrow. They should wait for when he completes his term,
yes,
and then they can ask him questions. Well, there's nothing in the Constitution that says there is a particular time when the people can ask you questions. Now, that's why we have a House of Assembly, which does oversight.
Oui.
And the House of Assembly is supposed to ask questions. That's why budgets are taken as proposals to the House of Assembly and is debated before it becomes an appropriation law in the particular state. The second issue that came up was about infrastructure.
Yes.
People were talking about schools. And then the governor reportedly said that, well, why are you taking Panadol for my own headache? That he did not create the condition of those schools, that those schools have been in very deplorable condition, and that in itself is a statement of fact. Okay. And that what his administration has been doing is to fix those schools, fix the roads that have not been taken care of for almost 25 years in Niger State. Now, those are the two issues. But I think that where we can have an issue with him is when he says, wait till I finish my 8 years before you come and ask me. There's no law that says the people cannot ask questions at any particular time. And the governor is under obligation to respond to them. However, we know that Governor BAGO, Farmer BAGO, is one of those governors that we used to celebrate on this table for two reasons. For his dedication to the promotion of religious harmony.
Yes, we have hailed him a lot.
Yes, and he has done a lot in that regard. Second, his commitment to agriculture, using agricultural lands, collaborating with states like Lagos and Zamfara, to make sure that the state, Niger State, becomes, a basket, a food basket properly for the country. But it is right when he says many of these are inherited problems. But the expectation of the people, either in Niger State or at the federal level, is that the people are impatient.
This is it.
And that is why they ask questions. And at any time that they raise questions or ask questions, as long as it cannot be established that those questions are politically motivated, partisan, or presented out of utter mischief, which is a major element of Nigerian politics, the state government and the governor has an obligation to continue to explain to the people.
And they have to explain
in the right manner. And they must never get tired of explaining to the people.
Right, Ayo, that's the main point. Just for them to be able to explain in the right manner. As a public office holder, your responsibility is to explain to your people. You're accountable to your people. Ayo, I'll take the story now. We'll take another story on the legal developments. Former presidential candidate Peter Obi has taken legal action against activist DEJI Adeyanju following a series of public accusations. Peter Obi's lawyers, in a notice, demanded a retraction and an apology from Adeyanju for what Obi's lawyers call defamatory publications. It states that Adeyanju has repeatedly published false and malicious statements designed to injure Obi's reputation, both in Nigeria and abroad, including an accusation that Obi invested state funds into a family-owned company during his tenure as governor. The legal notice specifically cites a social media post from August 21st, 2025, in which Adeyanju allegedly claimed that Peter Obi could only be president of the obedience on social media and that his supporters represent political extremists. Well, in a defiant response on Facebook, Adeyanju publicly dismissed Peter Obi's legal threat as laughable, expressing his eagerness to confront him in court while reiterating his previous claims. A lawyer, he continues with the defamatory statements on his social media account. We know that the legal battle intensifies a long-standing public dispute between the two parties, which began when Adeyanju had previously sued one of Peter Obi's aides for alleged defamation against his wife. I'll take some tweets before I come to you, Ion. This is from Pato, who wrote on X: when you shift from insults and criticisms to making categorical allegations about someone offering you a bribe, it goes beyond mere critique and becomes a serious accusation. DEJI is not just any random social media user. He boasts about his 25 years of activism and is now a lawyer. He should recognize the difference between hypothetical and categorical statements when making the former, especially regarding an allegation of bribery. One must be prepared to substantiate the claim. Furthermore, DEJI personally requested this. He publicly expressed his desire for it. As a lawyer, he has the skills to officially write to the anti-corruption agencies with a comprehensive petition if he was convinced that any actions taken by Obi in office constituted an act of corruption. Yet, he didn't do that. Instead, he wakes up every day throwing around all manner of categorical statements about acts of corruption. Another Twitter user wrote, "This case will really test the line between free speech and protecting someone's name. If Obi feels his image has been damaged, the court is the right place to sort it out. At the same time, activists and politicians both need to be careful with their words, like I said earlier. The truth will show in court. I hope justice will be upheld."
I think that last statement, that last sentence is the most important, one of the most important things made in terms of, I hope that justice will be held. And we've talked about the justice system in Nigeria. Sometimes it's said to favor a particular class to the other. But I want to hope, and I believe, because we must uphold our institutions, that's the only recourse we have. Dr. Abati had mentioned earlier on that you cannot resort to self-help. You have to approach the court. So we hope that the court will follow due process and really be the bastion of justice. But let me talk about this case. And I think it's important that Mr. Peter Obi has taken this step. I'm not the court. I cannot determine whether or not Mr. Adeyanju's statements was defamatory. He would have to prove himself or prove the accusations that he has made on his X account in court to beyond reasonable doubt. But we have had so many instances where, whether it be activists or surrogates or people who have been paid by a political party or a person, a political figure, come out to make spurious statements online defaming individuals or personalities. And usually people just say, turn the other cheek, this is politics, you know how it is, anything happens, people can say what they like. But after a while, it is important to actually make an example of certain people when they make careless statements or put out careless thoughts like this out there. We might think it's an innocent, it's political jabs, but Mr. DEJI Adeyanju is an influential figure. And there are many gullible people who would go online and read certain things and accept it as the word. It is important when you make statements like this to be able to back it up with proof and not just come out because you have a computer and you have access to the internet to make statements. It's not just DEJI Adeyanju who does this. A number of people, faceless, just come out and make many kinds of statements. I believe that if indeed he's able to go to court and is unable to prove this statement, and he's made an example, perhaps he would teach a lesson to a lot of people who come out and just take on a figure and spew words, spew lies, talk about things, and expect that in the spirit of magnanimity, you would overlook it and just move on to the next. I hope to see the end of this case, and if found guilty, I hope Adeyanju faces the law. If he's not found guilty, then Mr. Peter Obi owes the people an explanation and an apology.
The truth about the thing with this Obi thing is, with due respect, this one lawsuit will not change anything. You know what they always hide under? The fact that the procedure to prove a case of defamation is very long. And when you take somebody to court, the onions, pretty much will fall on you. So it's a very long-ended process. And they act on that to do it. But you see, I'm not surprised. You have a lot of government officials, people that have been paid with their taxpayers' money, also defaming people, spokesmen. Yeah. That's the society. But you see the hypocrisy about all of this is the same government officials that are calling for the social media space to be sanitized. Yeah. They are the ones that are using it to defame people, which we have empirical proof.
Dr. Martin, there is a Cybercrime Act law that has just been passed through.
In fact, that cybercrime rule, I know a government spokesman that has validated that if I'm to activate the cybercrime rule today, the cybercrime law, but nothing will be done. So what I've come to listen to them is see. So what I've come to say, if I can advise you, Mr. Peter Obi, with due respect, withdraw that case from court. Do not give anybody any chance to look very influential more than they are, because it's a waste of your time. Don't glorify them. Wait, Ayo. As of today, DEJI Adeyanju is on channel. He went on channels to talk about that in this morning. So don't glorify these people. Just ignore. It's public space. They will say things against you. If you can't stand it, you don't get litigation. Mr. Peter Obi, withdraw that case. They will say things against you. You just let it go.
All right, that's your thoughts.
Principles must be properly stated. Section 39 of the 1999 Constitution guarantees the freedom of expression. But under our jurisprudence, it must be recognized that no right is absolute under the Constitution. The fact that you have the right to express yourself does not give you the right to defame people, because the other citizen has the right to the dignity of the human person under Section 33 of the same, Section 34 of the same Constitution. So he who alleges
must prove.
All right. That's the basic principle. And Mr. Peter Obi going into politics does not mean that he has surrendered his right to the dignity of the human person. He has every right to go to court to challenge anybody who defames him. It's for that person to prove. The fact that you are a lawyer or that you are an activist does not grant you immunity.
This is it.
Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution is very specific about the persons who are entitled to immunity. Okay. And the Cybercrime Act that you refer to is controversial. They say police abuse it and all of that. But Section 14 of it is also clear. You cannot use electronic devices to defame people by hiding under anonymity. I think that we have to test our laws.
This is it.
With regard to defamation and to other laws, so that people do not think that they have absolute rights.
Okay.
Nobody has absolute rights.
All right.
The only defense that is available to you is justification, which is truth. The only defense also is absence of malice.
All right.
So we have to keep testing these laws.
I love
so
that.
that people don't just go on social media and talk about people, or they just carry microphone and they talk about people.
We don't need an example.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Yes.
With the things they've said about you, how many have you tested?
Well, no, that's why he's saying that.
No, please, let me ask him a question.
We're not
No,
making,
how many have you tested?
No.
And why have you not tested
we're
it?
not personalizing it.
Yes.
Why?
This is a basic principle of law.
Dr. Abati,
No,
Peter
if,
Obi
no,
should
no,
remove
no,
the case.
no.
Well, that's your opinion. Everybody
It
can
is
agree
up
with
to
you.
the person
Right. Yeah, let's
that
just
has
use-
been
okay.
defamed
Yes.
to say it's not there's
All
no
right.
compulsion in the Nigerian constitution
well.
or any of our
Very well.
statutes.
Very well.
It's for you to decide that, okay, I want to fight this matter,
Well
and
said.
you pursue it.
Well said, Joel.
To
Thank
say
you.
somebody should not defend his right, no, we shouldn't go that
Well
way.
said.
So it's about principle.
Great. I like that point as well. We have to test the law. Let's head over to Osun State now for a story of divine encounter and life-changing opportunity. On Thursday, during the rousing welcome of Osun workers, Governor Ademola Adeleke spotted a young lady, simply known as Ned, dancing in the crowd with a transport bowl of puff puff. Intrigued, the governor called her closer and in a simple act of kindness asked the worth of her snacks and doubled the money. But the story didn't end there when he learned she was a graduate with an NCE and proposed a notable skill for cooking. He offered her something much more, a job as a government chef. Let's take a look. This was so beautiful to see. I mean, kudos, Governor Adeleke. This chance encounter transformed a simple street hustle into a life-changing career, proving that fortune can favor the diligent in the most unexpected way. This is such a lovely, lovely news. Kudos, Governor Adeleke. In the same vein, let's highlight this video featuring skit maker Mr. Bike Global, who has been using his platform to promote acts of kindness in this video after spotting an elderly man on a roadside who's actually an Okada rider. The skit maker decided to surprise him with a cash gift. The interaction that followed was priceless. Let's take a look. So I had tears when I watched it. The whole idea, make a better place for everyone. I mean, look at this Good Samaritan. He did it all by himself. Mr. Mike Global has almost 730,000 subscribers on YouTube. A number of his videos show him displaying acts of generosity towards complete strangers, reminding us all how much impact a kind gesture can have. Dr. Abati.
Okay, very quickly.
Yes.
I mean, these acts of kindness are good to see, and they generate, they inspire, a lot of excitement. However, the point to be made is that whether it's Governor Adeleke of Osun State or Mr. Bike Global, these are episodes. Now, in the case of Osun State, the lady selling pop-off, she has NCE. She's probably selling pop-off because she's not able to get a job.
This is it.
There are many schools in Osun State that need the services of teachers. Also in other states where she could have put her education to more proper use. But she's selling pop-off because she needs to survive. Now the encounter with the governor is probably a chance encounter.
Yes.
There are probably many others like her who are also selling pop-off, or they are selling fish, or they are doing other things. They are not able to put their education to proper use. In other words, we have a school-to-work transition crisis,
yes,
in Nigeria. That is a fundamental thing that needs to be addressed, either in Osun State or at the federal level. But as for the generosity, the kindness of Governor Adeleke, well, that's very nice.
Yes.
The people were excited. Right. The only element that is missing in that episode is the governor, giving us some dance moves.
Yes.
But it's okay. But we need to see not episodes, but station-wide generosity by the state.
Where was he going to do the dance move, Dr. Abati?
He could have joined the people. He's a very creative man. He knows how to improvise. Okay. As for the Mr. Bike Global,
yes,
look at that old man.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like an elderly person.
Yeah.
Still riding
an Okada. That's why I thought it was
motorcycle.
Motorcycle. They call it Okada.
Just to earn a living. Now, this is about the dispossession within the Nigerian environment. A man like this probably should not be going through this hard labor at his age. He probably should be enjoying social security. I think in one country, is it the UK, they say when people reach the age of 60, they begin to enjoy. Yes. They enter free buses, they have free medical care. But here, people are telling me that life begins at 60. That when you are 60, the struggle is just starting. So, it's not the same. We need to build a country where senior citizens do not have to depend on episodic acts of kindness, because there will be many more who are in old people's homes who cannot even have enough energy to do any work.
We all applaud this amazing move. Encourage Nigerians to join the charity work. Really, kudos to both of them.
So much. Seems like I will go back.